Welcome to episode 5 of Motherhood, Money, and Mental Health. This is Waddie Kolinki,
And I'm Sammie Joseph Fredericks.
and we are excited to have two very special guests on our show today. We are going to be talking about what's going on in our world today as it relates to COVID-19. We have two very special mothers, and they will introduce themselves. We're just going to be talking about homeschooling and how it has been for us mothers.
Yep. And again, welcome. This is Sammie, and today we're doing we're doing it a little different. So we will record the audio, but with all this quarantine and stuff, we needed some FaceTime and some interaction, and we think it would be nice if you saw us as we have this discussion, and so we're recording, and you're going to be watching the video as well. So again, welcome to episode 5, and we will turn it over to the guests, right, to introduce themselves. So we'll start with Snoti. Hi, Snoti. Welcome.
Hello, Sammie. Hi, Waddie.
Can you tell us a little bit about who you are? I mean, we know who you are, but for the listeners.
Okay, my name is Snoti Friday. I am how can I say? I'm a kindergarten to 6th grade student or teacher. I have my license for K6. I also have my license to do short call substituting for preschool up till adults. I've been teaching roughly about 5 years. I'm not currently teaching right now. I stopped teaching in December of last year. And I have a 10-year-old son named Ezra who hates homeschooling. So that's a very interesting challenge that we have to go through for this new norm.
Yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit about your extra side things that you do?
My extra side things, I have an event planning business. The last one I did was in December for my brother's 30th or 38th birthday. And I do that. And then I will be trying to get into the space of writing a book. So I talked with Sammie about that. So we'll see how that goes.
And you got Rita yet too. She started this whole thing. So
there you go. So I'm in good
pioneers.
company.
I told you guys, pioneers in our community, man.
Yeah, doing great things. Okay, thank you, Snoti, and welcome. Rita?
Thank you.
Hi, welcome.
Hi everybody. And I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me, Sammie and Waddie. My name is Rita Apaloo. I am a Liberian, been living in Minnesota for 20 some plus years. I am also an author of African Women Connect, how I started and grew a networking group of African immigrant women for friendship, business, and community. So the book is about my experience creating this group of African immigrant women from like 20 plus different countries of origin in Africa. And we did meetings, like face-to-face meetings for 6+ years, and really build great friendships and did a lot of great things in the community, including volunteering at women's shelters, going, just exploring the community, going to museums, theaters, and basically just creating a group, because once we usually move here and leave family and support systems back home. So this was a way to bring women together to just support each other and expand their support circles. So that was great, and I ended up telling people a lot about it after it went inactive, and decided to write about my experiences, not just about creating the group, but also the space I was in at that time of my life, needing to do more and needing to connect with people. So that came out 2017, and it's on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. You can get it in an electronic version for e-readers or the actual paperback book. And I'm really excited because I just completed the audio book recording of the AWC book. And so I'm excited that this third year of the book being published, I will be able to offer an audiobook as well. So that's coming up in May. I'm excited about it. Also in real life, I am a strategic communications professional. That's basically close to public relations for people who like, what is that? So a lot of writing and that sort of thing, and messaging and creating communications for other people. I am also married. I've been married for 18 years this year, and but we've been together for 23, so we always add that in there because that was some serious 4 years. And then,
Congratulations.
and we have 5 children. So 3 biological and 2 we adopted family. So, and they're, they've been in this distant learning for 1 week. We just ended our first week, and then they go to spring break. So there's a lot to share around that. So I look forward to talking about that.
Okay, well, thank you again. Welcome. I know we've seen, I reached out to Waddie this weekend, and we're talking about how we've seen a lot of moms or parents, right, just post. There were a lot of posts going around this week when people started the whole distance learning at home. And then there are also people like me and my husband who are working all day full-time from home as well. And we have a 6-year-old son, and we have to try to manage his learning and help him, navigate this new way of learning, right? And so we were just like, maybe we need to just bring some moms, like, Snoti is a mom, but she's also a teacher, just to kind of share some of the things that we are doing, some of the challenges that we're having first, some of the things that we're doing that we have found to work for us. And just to start with me, you guys know that I love to teach my son. But all of the teaching that I've done prior to this week was like after work, when I had the extra time and I could focus on him. So once he started distance learning, this Wednesday was when we started, that was just a whole different ball game. It was super stressful for all of us this week, even my son, and I feel so bad, but it's like, and I'm so backed up at work, right? So I'm just like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know how much longer I can do this. So, I mean, let's just, talk about some of the things that we've been experiencing this week. Why do you want to start?
Yeah, why not? So I work as a children's mental health case manager for Andai Young Center. We're contracted through Ramsey County. And usually and typically, most of our documentation and work that we've done through the month is due at the end of the month. So that was an interesting time that, we start home or distance learning with my daughter the same week when I have to kind of start putting all my paperwork together to submit. So it has been a challenge. I think the first and hardest thing I have had is just setting up the computer stuff. Theirs is on Google Classroom. So they already kind of had some of that going, but they tried to like condense all the courses on this one medium, and everybody's got little assignments, links here, this thing to do, that thing to do. And I'm overwhelmed by just kind of figuring out whether she's completed the entire list of everything. At the same time, trying to manage my stuff. I mean, like Sammie said, I think my daughter got a little bit more frustrated with me trying to like balance the two things. My perception of what I thought distance learning would look like would be something like this, Zoom, where the teacher is sitting somewhere and talking to them, and then they have the opportunity to raise their hands and talk. And it was nothing like that. It was just more pre-recorded stuff that they put on the medium. They got to go through it themselves. They got to keep turning to me and saying, hey, to our parents and us, and saying, hey, I need help with this, or help me figure out this math. I can't, it's been interesting. It's been a
And
challenge.
Abigail is 10, right?
She's 10. She's
Mhm.
10 years old. She's in the fourth grade. She's very independent in most ways, but then when it comes to things like math, where you have to kind of teach the processes of things, it can become a challenge. And so yeah, it's been
Snotty,
hard.
what has your experience been?
For us, before COVID, before this thing hit, we had a week off. So he was on spring break. So
Mhm.
this was our official first week. But when they had those couple of days off, we went to the school and got like a printout of all the stuff that could possibly happen in the event that the governor says, okay, let's shut this down.
Shut down.
So I had from his teacher, she had given us a whole like 3 weeks worth of work, and she put it in the package. She gave us additional things for Ezra to do, and she sent it off with Ezra. So we worked on it a little bit, like for that Thursday and Friday that they were off, but then he had spring break. So this was the official week that he started. And just like Waddie, we had it where he wouldn't know like his login information.
Mhm.
Like he didn't know he had these different apps on his Chromebook, because they're fourth grade and fifth grade, they get Chromebooks that they can personally take home. So he didn't know his app for his Gmail. He didn't know a lot of the apps for that he would need. So we had to figure that out. And his teacher is very good. You call her up, she will answer at any time. She answered emails even on Sunday when I was trying to figure out how we're going to start.
That's
So
good.
that was interesting. And he is like to say, it's a new normal. So they do not like that idea at all. They can't see their friends. They don't know what we're doing. And then you trying to be a mom and a teacher is quite interesting. So every time he sees me, he runs away. He's like, oh no, she's coming to start again. So you see him run away. And when the phone call, if I get a phone call, boom, he's out of the door. He would not sit
First
there. He's like,
opportunity.
okay, she's occupied now, so let me go ahead and leave her alone. So now we try to figure that out. And what I do is each time we do an assignment, I cross it off so I know we already done it before. So that kind of helps us into this interesting process.
So all one thing that me, Snotty, and Waddie have in common is that we have one child.
Yep.
Rita has 5.
Rita.
So Rita, let's share what you have had to go through this week.
I'm a bit of a organization freak, right? So my kids they've had their Chromebooks. First they had iPads, now they have Chromebooks for years now. So whenever we have snow days, they have this thing called flex time. So they would log in and do some work. And so I was very familiar with that. However, before they actually started distance learning, I had already worked from home for 2 weeks. So they have seen me, working from home and with my meetings and that sort of thing. So before we knew that distance learning was starting, and so I had a meeting with the kids. And my husband and I talked before. I told him some of my ideas, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that sounds good." So we basically had a meeting and talk about what it's gonna look like. We had some rules that we put into place. I didn't want them working in the rooms. They spend a lot of time in the room as it is, playing games and doing other things. I told them, you see me every day. I come up, I'm ready to work. I take a bath. I come and take my coffee, and then I start my
Every day,
work
Rita.
day.
No, I'm
Yeah.
Every single
Yeah.
day. I'm serious.
I'm
I'm
just
with her.
kidding.
That's what I do. Yeah.
It just makes me feel like, I'm
No,
ready
yeah.
and going to do this thing. So they saw me do that, even though most of the time when I start, they were in their room sleeping or something. But I basically, laid some things out that I'm hoping that they will follow. This is not sort of new in our home in terms of like the rules that people have to follow and stuff like that. So they grumbled and stuff. But so distance learning was kind of different from the flex day because it was usually like a couple of things they had to do. But this one is like all just all of the subjects and stuff like that. So they sit in the living room and everybody have, at the dining table, they have their areas and they log on. We have a time that they have to log on. I don't wake them up. They know when they need to be here. I take attendance.
How old
So,
are they?
I was
What
gonna
are
ask
the
that
ages?
okay. So
question.
my kids, I have an 18-year-old who is a senior. I have a 13-year-old who is an eighth grader. A 14-year-old, she just turned 14, eighth grader, and then my 12-year-old is in sixth grade. Now I said I have five. I have to also share that there were the twins that we adopted, a girl and a boy. Unfortunately, we had to send the girl back last December because she was having a hard time adjusting.
Oh,
And so we decided that having her aunt raise her now until maybe she gets a little older and come back. So I just have the boy now. So I'm also parenting across continent, which is
mm-hmm.
a whole different
Where is
thing.
she in Cameroon? Is
She's
that
in
Cameroon?
Togo.
Togo. Okay.
Yes, yes. So I have the sixth grader who is sort of new. He's been here for over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
So distance learning is a little harder for him. Um, but we had they're doing the distant learning through Schoology. So we had major crash. Like we were ready to go, and the kids were out and doing the stuff, and all of a sudden crash. So the first couple of days, they were always on and off, which was very demotivating for them because, they were ready to go and I was there. So they except for the sixth graders, my 14-year-old, she's like super on top of it. Like flex days, she's the one that does all of her subjects, and she's also how you call it, a gifted learner. So she is her classes are like advanced and that kind of stuff. So she's very on task. My senior, he told me that he doesn't feel like he's learning. I'm like, I understand, it's different. You are learning, but it's just a different way that you're learning. And so this is also a way to kind of get you into, because once you get into college, you would have some options for distance learning or online classes. And so that's what it will look like. Um, One of the things that I was very surprised at the first couple of days, the days were shorter than I thought it was going to be. They give them all the things they need to do for the entire week. And then some teachers kind of break it down into days, and some just say, especially for my senior, just do this all week, kind of thing. So that kind of threw me off. And then I thought about what else could they be doing, and so I came up with this idea that they would read for an hour a day. So they had to show me the book that they were going to be reading, and I was going to check in with them periodically. I don't do it every day. Sorry, that's my phone. Somebody's going to pick it up. I don't do it every day, but periodically I check on them because I want to teach them self-management and personal responsibility.
Right.
So that's what it looked like for us this week.
It's interesting you said your senior feels like he's not learning. I was kind of feeling the same way too with my daughter stuff, but I had to come to the space of thinking, well, it's the first week. The teachers are trying to feel it out and figure out how they're gonna, convey information. Because I felt like everything that she was doing, math, all that stuff, even though there were some places where there were like teaching moments, but I feel like a lot of it was review, and it was just almost like busy work. There were, like, for example, the math, they had a warm-up thing where they would give my daughter go on his website, time yourself for 10 minutes and do this, so it's kind of like playing games with numbers, which is whatever, but I think the purpose of it was to just kind of get her to keep practicing multiplication and that kind of stuff. But I just felt like a lot of it was review, and I kept wondering, well, when are they going to start like actually teaching new concepts? And if they do, what is that going to look like? Are we going to be responsible to teach them a new math? You know what I mean? And you guys already know the math and all these things evolved over time. So like the way I learned how to do multiplication now is different. They got a box method that I've never seen before, So I keep wondering what that's going to look like when that starts. But
I think when I talked to my kids, especially the senior, it was like, it's just a different thing, it's just a different way, and we just have to get used to it. And I think that's what I've sort of been trying to tell them. Sometimes they have questions and they come and it's really funny. What I'm finding these few days is that the kids are, they were born into this world of technology. They have all this stuff, and you think that your kids will be like super on top of it, right? But it's all about the gaming part of it,
and what they're interested
social, in. Yeah. But like for example, my 14-year-old came to me, and because I encouraged them to send emails to their teachers. Like if there's something wrong, send email or Google Hangout, whatever the teacher is suggesting. So do that first and then come to me. I do check to see that they're done all of their things, but I really try to push them to do the interaction with the teacher so that they learn that. But she was sending an email, and then she said, "Oh, Mom, how do you end an email?" I was like, I try not to act surprised, but these are kind of things you learn that they don't know it as much as we think they do. So that's one thing I've learned.
Yeah, and
at least we can say it's a different kind of knowledge, right?
It is,
because what we know and what we use at work is different from what they know. I mean, if we were to get on their game systems, we lost.
Yeah, exactly.
So different kind of knowledge.
Yeah, for me, Luke is, a lot younger than all of your kids. And what we did, we had spring break for 2 weeks, and we did, like I said, we just started on Wednesday. So I took the last week to kind of try to, set up a dedicated space, show him this is where we're going to be. He helped me put all, sort out all of his stuff that he was going to need, like pencils, his crayons and paper and all of that stuff. He made labels and, label each thing and put it down. So he, I felt like I was preparing him to, you don't have to come and ask me, where's this stuff, where everything is. Of course, this is a first for all of us. I didn't know what to expect, right? I was like, oh, we're ready. Had his iPad ready to go. And because I knew, at least I knew that I was going to be helping him for a little, throughout the day. I had him in a space where I was, not too far away. But I mean, with Luke, he just felt that because he was home, it wasn't school, he wanted to play. Mom, can I give you a hug every 5 minutes, just to be to get up from doing what he's supposed to do. We made a schedule and everything. So every morning he gets up and watch these videos and whatever they say he should do, even though we have our schedule, I added things to it because I know for some reason I just felt like it wasn't enough, right? So I added, little things here and there. I made him, I was like, what do you want to do during this time? You got to choose between this, and this. Do you want to read? Do you want to do art? He was putting stuff like dance on there, but I left it there, right?
Yeah.
And so, but then when Wednesday came, it was just like a total different ball game. And I did. I don't know if I managed it well that first day. So, but I know, I mean, it helped that we had the conversation prior to, and, I kind of prepared him. So what are some of the things that, I know, Rita, we shared a list when I sent out that email this week and posted my list of some of the things that we had done to help ease, the pain during this time. you also shared a list with me. So maybe we can go through that and then just, talk about what are some of the things that that we're doing that are working. Snoti, maybe you can share, from the perspective that, you're a teacher, your background, your professional background. What do you suggest that we do? Because for like me, I feel like every time I see Luke, I feel like, how do you say this word or spell this thing? Like he's, like constantly teaching. He's so like you say Ezra running away from you. Same thing with Luke. Now he spend the whole he won't go downstairs in the basement with his power, right? And be away from me. So what are some of your suggestions? Like how do we do this so it is not too hard on us, but of course also is not hard. It's an easier process for the kids as well. Anybody can.
Okay, I would say for me, for Ezra's teacher, she had already planned out like a sample schedule, right? So she says, wake up at 8:30, you eat breakfast, you do like a little bit of fact fluency, trying to figure out multiplication and division, and then you go on to do these steps. So she was saying that if your kid has any problems, say the teacher told you to do it, right? So it's like you don't put it on yourself. You say, oh, this is what your teacher wants you to do. So she's like, make me the bad guy. So that was a little bit easier that, is not coming from mom. This is coming from your teacher. This is what she wants you to do. And I think there are some things, they give you like a whole list of stuff to do. There are some things that maybe your kid may need more practice on that they should work on. And maybe the other stuff can come at the end of the week. And I think having a dedicated time for when you start and when you finish, and then you turn that off and be like, okay, let's just put this away. I'm not coming back to it, and let you have fun because regular school day, they finish and they can relax. You don't have to run away from mom when you see her come in because she's not going to give you multiplication timetables or something like that. So I think turning it off at a designated time works, and it's also works for you because it's also about your sanity.
Yeah.
And just knowing that this is going to be a long haul, because I think they're saying that we're going to be here for the rest of the school year. So this is just going to be something that you will do, and having to fit that in your schedule. And just coming to terms with this is it. And luckily, I like the fact that it's like the end of the school year and not so much in the beginning.
Yeah.
Whereas they have already developed the skills that they needed from their teacher before. So now you're just like reinforcing that skill, and then you're just continuing on with activities that they can do. Because unfortunately now they can't go outside, they can't go to the park, they can't, go to sleepovers with their friends. So now trying to figure out what you can do, turn it off at the end of the day, and then just be mom. That's one thing I need to make sure that I do, so your kid is not running away from you in the basement. Or like with mine, he's hanging out with his grandmother. He's like, nope, I don't want to see her. Just be hanging out with his grandmother during the weekend, and I think they need that time away too. Just as much as we do, they need it as well.
Yeah, I think that's why I make it a point not to be on them every second of the day. Like we have a schedule and I'm trusting that they'll follow it. So that way we check in once a week on all of those things in terms of rules and who did what. So I'm not like constantly on them like, you're not up yet, or you're supposed to be doing this at this time. I just don't do that at all. I stick to my work time and what I need to do. One of the things I try to do is to have a lunch break. They have lunch break, so I have my lunch break around that time, so I'm available for us to either eat together, which my older kids, they're not like trying to be so close to me or whatever. They want to like get back to things that they're interested in doing. And so this is actually mine, way to find ways to reconnect with them because, during school time, during the regular time, they're gone all the time. And then when I'm home, it's late and then they're doing homework and that kind of stuff. So I kind of see the positives in this time to like really reconnect with the kids in that way. Also, you know, my senior is graduating this year, so we've been having conversations. He's really, you know, sad about the fact that they're not going to have the graduation, and
Mhm.
so this is kind of like a grieving time for the seniors as well, you know.
Yeah.
So that's been happening, and we've been having conversations, and he's been really open about that. So yeah. So I know I have a list, Sammy, but I don't know how you want me to do it. Just to read it out, or because I have like 15 things on the list. Otherwise, I can pick a couple of things out of there.
Yeah, let's do a few things.
Okay.
You know, you're the one that always giving me a wide grief about having long videos and
I know,
podcasts.
right?
That's true. That's true. Um, you know, I think I will just pick a couple of things from there. You know, we laugh about me getting up every day and taking a shower and not really dressing up, but like being comfortable clothes. Um, so that's one thing I ask of my kids as well. You know, well, they did negotiate to every other day for showers. I'm like, okay, that's fine. You know, but they have to brush and floss their teeth every day. Um, Also, you know, I think one of the important things to bring up is wellness appointments, right? So kids have wellness appointments, or they might have, even for kids who might have like mental health issues and that kind of stuff. We as parents need to know that they can still see the doctors. Now they have the virtual wellness or the telemedicine, how wherever they call it. So many of the healthcare you know, institutions or are providing that. So kids can see the doctor. We've done one with Children's Hospital. Go to Children's Hospital. So we've done a meeting with the doctor on the virtual thing. They just send you a link and click on the link, and you know, the parents and the kid can be on, and we talk to the doctor and about any issues or what have you. So just a way to check in. We're trying to keep well, you know. If you can avoid going to the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
that would be helpful for the healthcare professionals. So just finding ways to keep appointments, that's very important for your family. Don't forget about that. Advocate for the kids, you know, when they're having issues with connectivity or something they don't understand, and the teacher is not you know, explaining that to, you know, at a level that they're understanding, then it's time for parents to step in and either send an email or make a phone call. I know I've sent emails when the Schoology system crashed. I sent emails, not just to say the system crashed, but I went to each kid and I said, "What are you experiencing? What can you do?" And we made a list, and I put that list together and I sent it to the school, just so they know, you know, what parents are experiencing. And I did say, you know, it's very demotivating for the kids. And I know other people are saying that as well, but don't feel like you don't have to wait for other people to do it. You can do it too as a parent. You can
Mm-hmm.
be a part of that. Um, we live in a home, so we have a yard, so the kids can go out and get some fresh air. But we also live close to a park, so we can go out and walk. They ride the bikes. We get out there. There's a lot of other families out there as well. So then you have to remember to do the social distancing, where you got to be far away, like 6 feet from other people. They see their friends from school, so that's a great way that they can say hi, that kind of thing. So it's good. What else? Oh yeah, when they're learning, there's no cell phones. These are older kids, so they have cell phones. So
Mm-hmm.
during the learning time, absolutely no cell phones. Um, they're not allowed to learn in the pajamas. They have to change in something, you know, something comfortable. They have lots of those, so they can take a few minutes to you know, change.
I don't
Uh,
think people would like being to your house, Rita, for that. So.
he will, because once he does it, he will be like, "Oh, it's not a big deal."
You don't know this kid. Uh-uh.
No, but it's easier to do it with the older kids than
Yeah,
the younger
yeah.
kids. So And the older kids, they probably don't. I mean, the younger kids, they don't really care. I mean, you have to pick your battles, right?
And
Yeah.
the kids can adjust though.
No, I know I
Yes.
They
make,
can,
I make him, just to kind of, help him, like you were talking
Hmm.
about, putting that responsibility on him to do certain
Yes.
things.
Hmm.
We have a list. You have to do breakfast, brush your teeth, and then change
Hmm.
your clothes, so I
Yeah.
do that. I'm the one who will not do that
Yeah.
because I want to be in my
the
PJs.
truth be told.
Yeah.
And
No
then just
lie.
maybe one last thing I'll
Mhm.
talk about too is I know we're all in this space together, right? As families, we can't go out. We stay at home order, so we have no choice. We all in the same space. Um, so this when I say still try to find one-on-one time with your kids. So for people who have the kids, have the bedrooms and stuff like that right now, parents are not constantly in the bedroom, but like set up some time to just hang out, and find out how they're doing, what they think about the distance learning, about COVID-19, if they have
Mhm. Mhm.
questions,
Mhm.
and then also just find ways to switch the conversation away from what we're experiencing today to, you can talk about their favorite things. um, Maybe it's a movie or a series they're watching, they can tell you about that. Just a way to connect one-on-one, even though we all sort of connected in a way, but we have to think of how we can go deeper and make sure we hearing them and listening to them and
Right.
finding out what their concerns are.
Talk
So
about
those are
Just
something.
to
some
add,
things that, mhm.
I think it is important to like instill hope as well.
Yep. Talk
Yes.
about
So
something.
you got to talk about future things after all of
Yes.
this,
Mhm.
just to kind
Mhm.
of get them thinking that this is not forever,
Forever. Yeah.
and
Yep.
hopefully
Mhm.
there will be some, some sort of solution to all of this.
Yes.
I don't know. I think that's been important.
Mhm.
So,
So what does me time look like for you guys
Oh,
outside of the role as a mom during this time?
it almost doesn't exist for me because basically you are taking care of everybody. Everybody, you're like trying to make sure everybody's okay. You're the person who is organizing everyone, making sure they got what they need, and then there's work. So to be honest, meantime is like not high on my list, but I need to do a better job with
Hmm. For me, I just wake up. I mean, I normally do.
this.
I'm up by like 3:34 in the morning, and I know. And I mean, I'm up, so I just get up and
Yeah.
I'll try to work out a little bit, and then hop on work stuff because, like I said earlier, I've been pretty backed up. So I'll take that time to work on my 9 to 5. Get a lot of stuff done as possible before everybody else wakes up, and then start tending to them.
yeah, when Rita was talking about, having to wake up and everybody doing their thing and having their schedule, I also want to make sure that people understand that it is important to do what's best for your family, and we are
Yes.
just giving suggestions of what works for us.
Hmm.
For my household, like Sammy, of course, I don't do 3 o'clock, but I'm up at 6, and it makes, I mean, because normally when I go to work, we can go to work, as we need to, I guess. So sometimes I'm there at 9, sometimes I'm there at 10. I've
Mm-hmm.
gotten to work at 11, depending on what I'm doing. But in this case, and with the new change, I have to be up at 6 so that I can get the bulk of my stuff done. For my daughter, their stuff, they have to, their school started at 9 o'clock, before. So the teacher has kind of been flexible and said, I just need you to kind of log in for attendance by 10. So I have been waking her up at like maybe 8:45-ish, get her, she has to go to the bathroom, clean up and change, yes. She don't have to take a shower and every day, but she has to do that, just so that way she feels like she's going to school and she's gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
on a schedule. We work from 9:30 and she can be done before 2, maybe 1:30. Just depends on what's going on. And sometimes it's earlier, it depends on what they have assigned. So that way I have, you know, time to continue working on my stuff. And I kind of take a break sometimes in there to be able to help her. And then we, you know, we do all that stuff. But I think it just helps, you know, to be able to do that. Because what I would do the first day, I worked in my bed. She was in the bed with me, and I was like, no, this is not
Mhm.
gonna work because then it felt like one long continuous day, you
Yeah.
know. And then
Mhm.
even when I had the laptop, I set it on the side table thing, and I felt like I was still thinking my work, you know. So I had to like separate it, get a
Yeah.
separate room,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
make it seem like I'm going to work, and this is the space, and we close the laptops, and we're done
Mhm.
for our day.
And
So
move away from that space.
yes,
Yeah.
move away. And then we tend to like when she's logged off and I'm logged off, everybody kind of separate for an hour or so and do their own decompressing, and then we can come back and watch a movie together.
Mm.
I've ordered a lot of games. We just got like a stack, you know, Jenga and all these different things, and then we try to connect that way again differently so it's not academic.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I will probably do like, you know, like Sammie said, every time I see her, tell me not 9 times 8, you know. So I had to separate it.
Mhm.
So that has been helpful.
Any other suggestions, Snoti?
Um, for me, I think we're talking about self-care, right? Like, what do you do as a mom? So for me, I like to be in my closet, lay down on my carpet,
There you
and
go.
watch YouTube videos. So when I do that, that's like my space. And I tell Ezra, everybody goes to their respective corners. You know, that's like my phrase. So I'm like, this is my corner. This is your corner. When we're ready, I'll make you some food and we get back together again. But I have to be in like a contained, quiet, and warm space in order to function. Because you know me, I love the street. I haven't been at, I can't function being in the house all day, every day. So I have to be able to do that. We went for a bike ride for like a little bit of activity. Then I found out his bike is broken. I'm like, then why did you make your grandparents buy you this bike? And he never like picked it up to ride it again because he's always into technology. So
Mhm.
now it's like finding out different ways to
Yeah.
connect, different ways to, or different things that you didn't know that wasn't so reliant on technology.
Mhm.
And just everybody keeps a schedule. We go to chill. I did realize that we did end up watching like a lot of TV.
Mm-hmm.
So turning off that TV, turning off the iPad,
Mhm.
putting my phone in my room, and then just being able to like chill. Even like go sit on the balcony is like a good way to um, get away from all of this. And seeing that the sun is still shining, birds are
Mhm.
still flying, and let's just, it'll be done soon, hopefully.
Mhm. Mhm.
We'll be able to get back to our lives. Fingers crossed, Sammy, fingers crossed.
And just to piggyback on that, non-technology type thing, in addition to having them read books, which, during the school year, they had like a focus time for reading. I try to, introduce some other things, like board games and that sort of thing as
Mm-hmm.
well. The exercise, walking as a family. My husband and I also walk, just the two of us, which is a nice way to connect as well. But one of the fun things, well, it was fun for me, but I'm a crafty person. So I do like needlepoint work and I crochet and that kind of stuff. So I thought, it would be a great time to teach the kids something that they don't know, something
Yeah.
that's not
Yep.
technology, right? So I just introduce I also have a 23-year-old. She's not a school age kid, but she still lives at home. So I introduced the needlepoint work to the kids because I buy these little arts, things that is in a little package. So everything you need to do the needlepoint is on there. So I give it to my girls and I told them that's something they can learn something new how to do. And so I've given to them and now I have to go back and check and see if they started it. But just thinking about new ways to engage the kids, sometimes something they can learn a new skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We've been doing, I like a lot of art too. So we've been doing a lot of drawing. We've been doing a lot of building stuff, science
Mhm.
experiments. and baking. I do not know how to bake, but we go online and find recipes
Mhm.
and we make things together from scratch. Another thing that my family that we do is we've incorporated we're doing a 30-day workout challenge.
Mm.
So there's this video on YouTube that we follow. It's about 15 minutes, and three of
Okay.
us will do it every single day. There are days that I don't want to do that. And Luke would be like, "No, mom, if you don't do it, you will not be strong." And he's crossing it off the calendar. So that's a good way for us to connect to and keep moving and
Yes.
adding some healthy options to to kind of break up the day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, we need to do more movement stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably check that out. Even though my 14-year-old tells me that she's doing this, I don't know, app thing on every other day, she says. I'm like, okay, that's good. Because I hear like she's jumping up and down doing something. I'm like, what are you doing? Exercise. I'm like, okay, that's really good. I'm like, I should follow your example there. So
And one
yeah.
thing I want to add is that, we like we're talking about the screen time and trying to limit that. We have to be mindful. We have to be aware that they're watching us. We
Yes.
can't say,
Yeah.
don't be on your gadgets and we're sitting on our phones all day on social media,
Mhm.
right?
Yes,
So
yes.
that is one thing that we have to be really mindful of. If
Mhm.
we're putting it away, put it away.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely.
Ladies, I think our time is coming close to an end. I want to say thank you all for joining us. It's been a great episode. I want to just kind of recap a few things. So, throughout this episode, I know again, whoever's watching, thank you guys for joining us, the watchers, the viewers. We just want to let you know that these are our experiences as moms. You
Mm-hmm.
can also structure things to the way it works best for your family. But some of the things that we kind of talked about was just making sure that you have some sort of structure or routine to your day that helps, for you, yourself as a mother, as a parent, and it also helps the children to kind of be able to compartmentalize what's happening and to be able to say, okay, this is school time, and now we're moving into me being home time. That
Mhm.
also breaks it up for you as a parent to not always be the teacher or be in the teacher role or for teacher parent role to flow into teacher role. I mean, because you need to be able to have, different caps and the child should be able to see you as that. So you can still teach your child like you were doing homework and that kind of stuff. But it is also good to break it up. One of the things we talked about, most important is getting out of the house when you can. I know we're not supposed to be out and about in public, but just kind of getting out and being active. So if you have a yard, utilize that space. If you have a park nearby and you can walk in areas that's going to be safe and you can still maintain social distancing, be sure to try to get into that. Unplugged from the computers and the and everything that we're doing, every technology thing, because the kids are already online. They're not sitting at school. They're already online all morning, for hours on end, and then going from that to another, technological piece. I think that's just going to be a lot, So it's good to just unplug. Also, be the models of what you're doing. I mean, that was something Sammie mentioned. I think is really important. We can't tell them to unplug. We get off our computers and then go back on our cell phones. Um, and then we also talk about being hopeful, making sure you're talking about, what will happen after this, checking in with the kids as well, checking in with their mental health,
Important.
checking in with their physical health, checking in with them and being sure that they are, they're okay. I mean, they are people, they soak in everything we're doing and saying and talking. Um, get away from the news every day. I mean, you can get your information you need morning and evenings, but I would say don't constantly be on it. Don't constantly be talking about it. The kids are hearing, they're listening, they're feeling your emotions, they're feeling your reactions, and they're modeling that stuff. And so we want to make sure that they stay calm, that they are, their mental health is intact, and that they're able to function. One thing my daughter mentioned, I think that was really interesting was she thought, and it was funny, she met her friend in the park and she was kind of like, shy and staying away from the kid, and I was like, wasn't that your friend? She's like, yeah. Well, why didn't you say hi? Well, I don't know. Like, so we talked about it just being weird when they go back to connect and to
Mhm.
find and to be comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with other people again. So
Mhm.
um, I think the more we talk about this stuff, the more we, seem fearful about it, the more our anxiety and other things are up, the more they're soaking that stuff in. So we got to figure out a balance. We got to be able to make sure that they're okay and that we're okay. And then finally, self-care.
Yeah.
Self-care, no matter what you do, no matter what's going on, find that time to disconnect, to have time to yourself, connect with your partner if you are in a partnership, and just enjoy your time. So thank you everybody for
Let
joining.
me just add one thing to the final thoughts there. I know you talk about, Abby, them being weird when they saw each other in the park. One thing that we have done is we have tried to I connected with other moms from, kids in his class, and was like, hey, can we schedule a play date, a virtual play date? And they've been connecting that way. It's not, we schedule 1 hour every other day or something like that, and those kids would just sit there and connect and show each other toys, and they're talking, and so that's another way too for them to keep in touch. If you have access to other parents' information and you can reach out to them, they were happy for us to set it up, because that was an hour where they were entertaining each other, and we could do take some time for ourselves as well. So
That helps. And for our kids a little bit older, so they already have their phones and their friends, and you know what I mean, that they connect with. But it's just, I think it was the physical part of it.
yeah.
So that's also a really great way to connect for younger kids. Make sure you kind of continue to maintain that. So thank you once again, ladies, for joining us. Thank you all of our viewers. We really appreciate you over the last few episodes. This is episode 5. We're signing off. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.